Acacius quickly defeats his foes, impressing the crowd. Lucius faces him next, leaving Lucilla overwhelmed as her son battles her husband. To prevent a battle, Macrinus and Lucius duel. Today, we delve into the details of Gladiator II full movie recap. If you're new to this channel, please do subscribe and let us know where you're watching from in the comments section. Your support is greatly appreciated, my dear friend. Thank you. 16 years have passed after Marcus Aurelius' death. His dream for Rome is lost. Twin emperors Geta and Caracalla rule with cruelty, spreading corruption and war. The city nears collapse, but a few still hold on to hope. The movie opens in a peaceful Numidian village where Hanno and his loving wife, Arichat, enjoy their life on a quiet farm. But when the danger horn sounds, Hanno senses trouble. Together, they don their war armor, preparing to defend their homeland from the approaching threat. Indeed, the threat is real. Roman army ships appear on the horizon.
Defeat the Romans!
In Numidia, Commander Jugurtha rallies his forces, vowing to defeat the Romans. He reminds Hanno of a missed offering, but Hanno declares the Romans will be his sacrifice instead. Before the battle, Hanno shares a tender moment with his wife, exchanging rings and pledging eternal love before parting for war. Roman ships, led by General Acacius, approach Numidia city.
The wind is too strong.
As strong winds whip across the sea, Acacius orders his troops to furl the sails and strike the water with paddles, moving swiftly toward the shore. Meanwhile, Hanno rallies his warriors, urging them to stand strong against Roman oppression. Numidia, the last free city in Africa Nova, must remain unbroken. Hanno inspires them, declaring that death is not their destiny and unity is their greatest strength. The battle begins as both sides launch explosive weapons from their sling shafts. General Acacius orders the siege tower to be razed, despite their ships taking heavy damage. Against the odds, the Romans reach Numidia's walls. When the drawbridge jams, Acacius himself forces it open, and fierce combat ensues. Amid the assault, Arichat is struck and Hanno distracted. He is also gravely injured and falls into the sea. In his unconscious state, Hanno envisions Arichat being carried across a river by death, unreachable despite his desperate cries. He awakens on the shore, heartbroken, to see her lifeless body floating nearby. Retrieving the arrow from her chest, he keeps it as a token of their love. As the Romans close in, Hanno gives in, driven by sorrow and vengeance. In the city of Numidia, mourners gathered for their dead, while the Romans burned the bodies, declaring it for the glory of Rome.
For the glory of Rome!
General Acacius hid his guilt for the innocent lives lost. Survivors, including Hanno, were captured, marked as slaves, and stripped of their freedom, their grief turning into silent resolve amidst the ruins. On the ship to Rome, Hanno mourned his wife in silence. Nearby, he spotted Jugurtha, injured and weak, and offered him help. Jugurtha thanked him, recalling their first meeting as he came from the desert.
Lonely boy from the desert.
When young Hanno was eager yet afraid.
I am sorry, my son.
Over time, Hanno had grown strong and skilled. Though Jugurtha felt his end near, he urged Hanno to stay true to himself and never let the Romans crush his spirit. As a boy, Hanno fled into the desert, chased by Romans for reasons still unknown. Escaping to Numidia, he found safety and grew into the man he is today. Sadly, those left behind faced the Romans' wrath and perished. As the ships arrive at Ostia port, the weary slaves gazed in awe at the grand city of Rome, its towering structures and bustling streets a stark contrast to their despair. In the city, General Acacius was greeted with cheers by the Roman citizens, celebrating his conquest of Numidia. Welcomed by the twin emperors, Geta and Caracalla, Acacius was honored with a laurel crown and games held in his name. Humbly, he declined the festivities, requesting only time to rest and reunite with his wife, Lucilla.
Remember the privileges we have granted her?
The emperors refused and insisted on the games but reminded him of the greater conquests ahead.
They can eat raw!
Persia and India awaited Rome's reach. On the outskirts of Antium, slaves are herded into an arena to fight feral baboons as a gruesome showcase for Roman buyers. Among the crowd, the stable master Macrinus watches eagerly, waiting for the games to begin. When the slaves enter the arena, Jugurtha appears frail, and Hanno urges him to stay close.
Conquered enemies of Rome!
The baboons, snarling and sharp-toothed, are released and chaos erupts. Jugurtha is quickly overpowered, bitten, and killed. Hanno steps in, grappling with one of the beasts. In a fierce struggle, he bites the baboon and chokes it to death, earning the admiration of Macrinus, who purchases him, seeing potential in his raw strength. Later that night, General Acacius visited his wife. Grateful to the gods for his survival, she embraced him warmly, and they shared a quiet moment together.
Thank the gods that brought you back home safe.
The next day, surviving gladiators were taken to their training grounds. From above, Macrinus watched as Vigo explained the rules and rewards of gladiatorship,
Gladiators and gladiators into free men.
including freedom for great fighters. Spotting Hanno, Vigo mockingly called him monkey eater, drawing laughter. In the dining hall, the gladiators gathered for their first meal. Hanno's friends playfully teased him with baboon sounds, and laughter filled the room as they ate. Macrinus met his new gladiators and singled out Hanno.
Get up.
Curious about his skill against a man after defeating an ape, he paired Hanno with Vigo for a duel. Hanno easily defeats Vigo,
Very good.
further impressing Macrinus. Macrinus admires Hanno's strength and fiery spirit,
Good arms.
calling it an art to choose gladiators, especially those with rage.
I choose rage.
Unmoved, Hanno refuses to fight willingly, though he's forced to.
Whose head could I give you?
Sensing his fury, Macrinus offers him the head of anyone he desires. Hanno demands the Roman army's heads, or General Acacius. Macrinus accepts the challenge.
Patience with those two is at an end.
Speaking of General Acacius, he enjoys a quiet moment with his wife, Lucilla, as they discuss overthrowing the emperors. He expresses his anger over the cruel treatment in Numidia, causing mothers to mourn their children. He vows the emperor's vanity must end. With his army arriving in Ostia in 10 days, their plot will begin soon. Moving to Senator Thrax's territories, a grand feast was prepared for the emperors and Roman nobles.
I knew the provinces were not enough.
Music filled the air as Thrax reunited with his old friend, Macrinus. Gladiators arrived, but Hanno remained unsure of his role.
Me?
Thrax wondered if Macrinus had plans to become a senator, but Macrinus quickly denied it, changing the subject. Hanno nervously wondered what was coming next when Thrax announced a combat between his gladiator, the mighty Vitek, and Hanno.
Of combat!
What was meant to be a show turned deadly when Emperor Caracalla demanded a fight to the death.
Want swords!
The battle began. The fight was intense, but Hanno emerged victorious, killing Vitek. Thrax mourned the loss of his gladiator and the money spent. Emperor Geta, impressed by Hanno's skill, asked about his origins.
From where do you hail?
Hanno refused to answer, but Macrinus spoke for him.
See, his native tongue is all he understands.
Hanno then told a poetic tale that indirectly insulted the emperors, though they didn't realize it. The emperors just laughed about it
Poetry!
Grown so bored, but you surprised me.
and were eager to see the poet fight again in the arena.
As do I.
After the fight,
Come with me.
Macrinus rewarded Hanno with money and asked where he learned the poetry he recited.
Who taught you poetry?
Hanno said he learned it from a Roman officer in prison. When asked about his birthplace, he avoided the question, saying the past didn't matter. Instead, he asked how to use the money. Macrinus explained a gladiator could earn his freedom using money. That night, Lucilla sought guidance from her late father, Marcus Aurelius,
Protect us and guide us.
as she proceeds to a secret meeting with the senators.
Why, oh
here?
A nervous Senator Gracchus questioned their risky gathering. Acacius revealed their plan. On the final day of the festivities, his 5,000 soldiers at Ostia would arrest the emperors for their crimes. Though skeptical, Senator Thrax was intrigued. Gracchus pledged loyalty to Lucilla. Thrax advised Lucilla to lead, assuring her that the senators would follow. As the gladiators passed through the gateway into Rome, they encountered a city of stark contrasts. Homeless crowds filled the streets, and certain areas reeked of filth.
Twins there.
Above the gateway, they noticed a sculpture of the legendary twins raised by a wolf. Hanno recounted their tale, warning his companions of the chaos and plagues the twins had unleashed, a foreshadowing of the twin emperors now in power. True to his words, the city seemed diseased, its people restless and mentally unstable. As the gladiators continued toward their destination, the narrative shifted to Senator Thrax and Macrinus. Thrax found himself in even deeper trouble when Macrinus, upset by the delayed payment, doubled the wager. Meanwhile, Vigo moved the gladiators into the arena's preparation chambers, lining them up.
Line up!
Hanno noticed a wall displaying victorious gladiators' names, but one name was scratched off, catching his attention. In the Colosseum, the crowd roared in anticipation as the master of ceremonies stepped forward.
Honor the victory of Rome!
He introduced the twin emperors, Geta and Caracalla, along with the citizens of Rome, celebrating Rome's glory. The Numidian barbarians would face the game's wrath, honoring General Acacius and Lucilla. Before the games began, the emperors asked General Acacius to give a speech.
I am a soldier.
Popular among the public, he humbly claimed to be a soldier, not a politician, urging the people to stay brave in these trying times. Hidden within his words was a subtle message the emperors failed to catch, but Macrinus did. Moments later, the gladiators from Macrinus' stable marched into the arena, ready to face their fates under the watchful eyes of Rome. A Roman soldier, mounted on a massive rhino, was sent to dispatch the Numidian gladiators. The crowd roared with excitement, and the emperors watched in amusement. The rhino charged, taking down one of the Numidian fighters. Hanno, channeling the spirit of the legendary gladiator Maximus, caught Lucilla's attention, stirring her curiosity. He diverted the rhino into the arena wall, forcing the Roman soldier into combat. Lucilla, intrigued by Hanno's skill and presence, began to suspect he might be someone familiar. Though the soldier overpowered Hanno briefly, the emperor sought Lucilla's advice and granted mercy. To everyone's shock, Hanno rejected the offer, swiftly dispatching the soldier instead. The arena erupted, chanting Hanno's name, as the emperors and the mob were left both surprised and intrigued by the defiant gladiator. After the games, Lucilla returns to her chambers, unsettled by Hanno's striking resemblance to her late husband, Maximus, in his movements and skill. A deep realization hits her.
Lucius is safe.
Hanno is Lucius, her long-lost son. Years ago, she sent him away as a child after Maximus' death.
You're the sole heir to the throne now.
Desperate to shield him from the deadly plots of those seeking to claim Rome's throne. Now, he unknowingly stands before her as a gladiator. Meanwhile, Lucius meets Ravi, the doctor tending to his wounds.
I'm Ravi.
Ravi admits he was once a gladiator but earned his freedom and now heals others. As they talk, Macrinus bursts in,
Did you hear that crowd?
brimming with excitement over his champion, Lucius, who continues to win and impress at every turn. After some time, Lucilla invites Macrinus to her home.
We've met before.
He feels they've met before, recalling his time in her father's African campaign. He cryptically says the best revenge is not becoming like those who hurt you. Lucilla knows of his influence across empires, now sponsoring gladiators in Rome. Macrinus confirms they fight for freedom, then admires her father's sculpture before leaving. Macrinus then visits a friend to inquire about Lucilla. He learns that she had a son named Lucius, who was believed to be dead. Though Macrinus seems to be troubled, unaware that Lucius is actually his champion, Hanno, in his yard. That night, Lucilla, under house arrest by the emperors for her royal claims to the throne after her father Marcus Aurelius's death, escapes in disguise. With Senator Gracchus's help, she secretly meets her son Lucius.
Do you know me?
However, Lucius angrily rejects her, furious over being sent away from Rome while she remained in luxury. He blames her new lover, General Acacius, for his wife's death.
I'm so sorry.
Unaware of the sacrifices Lucilla made to protect him, Lucius chastises her, leaving her heartbroken. Returning home, Lucilla finds General Acacius waiting. She reveals that her son, Lucius is alive and begs Acacius to protect him. Willing to sacrifice herself for Rome, she insists they adjust their plans accordingly. On the training ground, gladiators prepare for the upcoming games involving rowing and navigating waters.
You go.
Lucius, defiant, ignores Vigo's instructions and is challenged to train alone. Exhausted by the day's end, he admits defeat. Ravi intervenes, treating Lucius's injuries with vinegar and becoming his confidant for the night. Ravi urges him to survive, sharing his own journey of endurance until he earned freedom. When Lucius asks why Ravi remains in Rome, he reveals it's for his wife and children, choosing to embrace life as Romans for their family's future. The next day, the gladiators boarded ships, preparing for a naval battle. Lucius rallied his team, urging them to survive. The ships sailed into the Colosseum, transformed into a flooded arena teeming with gigantic sharks. Amid the cheering crowd, Lucius' team demonstrated clever tactics to overpower their opponents, earning the masses' admiration. During the chaos, Lucius spotted General Acacius and fired a crossbow that narrowly missed the emperors. Acacius quickly fled the arena with Lucilla. Despite the victory, celebrations were cut short as Vigo demanded to know who attempted to shoot the emperors. Lucius' team cryptically diverted his questions, keeping their secrets safe as they basked in their hard-fought triumph.
I have news for you.
At Senator Thrax's home, a slave delivers news for him, which he shares with Macrinus, who suddenly arrives demanding payment. Lacking funds, Thrax concedes his debt. He reveals a secret. General Acacius and Lucilla plan to overthrow the emperors, with Acacius rescuing Lucius from the arena tonight. Macrinus grasps the scheme and leaves swiftly. That night, General Acacius leads his team to the arena for the rescue mission, unaware of Senator Thrax's betrayal. Disguised in hooded cloaks, they slip inside. Meanwhile, Lucilla is summoned by the emperors.
Come with us.
Hidden Praetorian guards ambush Acacius' men, killing them. Acacius is cornered and caught in the act. General Acacius and Lucilla are brought before the emperors, who express their disappointment. Despite their chastisement, Acacius laughs, showing no fear and declaring his exhaustion with their cruelty. Enraged by his defiance, Emperor Caracalla demands his immediate execution, but Emperor Geta intervenes, insisting Acacius be executed publicly for all to see.
Thank you, Macrinus.
Emperor Geta praised Macrinus for exposing the traitors, calling him a loyal ally. Macrinus suggested sparing them from crucifixion, proposing instead that the gods decide their fate in the arena. In the arena, Ravi tends to Lucius' wounds as they discuss Lucius' recurring dreams of a black river, a symbol of death in their culture. Lucius inquires about the scratched-out name on the wall, and Ravi reveals it belonged to Maximus, a legendary gladiator. Unaware that Maximus was Lucius' father,
Bowed to no one.
Ravi takes him to an underground shrine where rebel gladiators are honored. Maximus's sword and armor are preserved there. Lucius touches them, recalling childhood memories of his father and the legacy he left behind. The next day, Praetorian guards surround the arena, anticipating chaos in the games. Lucilla is moved to a seat, forced to watch as her husband is punished. The Master of Ceremonies announces General Acacius' trial, where the gods will decide his fate. Acacius enters the arena, facing 4 Praetorian guards for a deadly duel. Acacius quickly defeats his foes, impressing the crowd. Lucius faces him next, leaving Lucilla overwhelmed as her son battles her husband.
We'll give it to you.
Too late. Let the gods decide!
Lucius, skilled as ever, easily outmatches Lucius, who can't get close. However, Acacius surrenders, claiming respect for Maximus, Lucius's father. Despite this, the emperor orders his death. Lucius refuses to kill him, and the archers quickly strike Acacius down.
Death will be too good for you!
Furious, Lucius questions if this is how Rome treats its heroes. The emperor declares the gods have spoken, and while the masses protest, the Praetorian guards hold them back. Macrinus urges the emperors to return to the palace for their safety. Afterward, Lucius has flashbacks of his late wife when Macrinus finds him. He asks why Lucius didn't kill the general who caused his wife's death. Lucius replies that as a gladiator, he makes his own choices. Macrinus insists Rome's reality can't change and calls Lucius his instrument.
You will be my instrument.
But Lucius rejects this, vowing to see Macrinus's end.
That will not be my destiny.
Rome is in chaos after General Acacius's death, and the people want to kill the emperors.
Filthy eggs!
Emperor Geta angrily blames his twin Caracalla. Macrinus manipulates both brothers, convincing Caracalla that Geta is trying to shift blame onto him.
Means to blame you.
He warns that Caracalla's ally, the monkey Dardas,
What will they do to Danda?
might not survive the crisis, leaving Caracalla to make a tough decision. As Emperor Geta watches the chaos, his brother Caracalla enters with a blade, slicing Geta's hand. Despite Geta's pleas, Caracalla refuses to stop. Macrinus arrives, supporting Caracalla's decision to kill Emperor Geta. On the other side, Lucius meets his mother, Lucilla, again, but this time they are both captives. After some regret, they reconcile. Lucilla gives him her father's ring, which once belonged to Maximus and Acacius.
He was readying troops at Ostia under the...
She tells him about the troops at Ostia, where Acacius was preparing Commander Darius Sixtus to overthrow the emperors.
Is it true they intend to kill you?
Lucius vows to save her when he learns they plan to kill her.
I found you have no desire to lose you again.
But Lucilla isn't afraid, grateful just to see her son again. In the Senate Council, after the death of his brother, Emperor Caracalla names Dardas, his monkey, as his first consul, shocking the senators.
Dardas!
They have no choice but to hail Dardas.
Hail Dardas!
Macrinus is named second consul, and his plans seem to be going well.
Hail Macrinus!
For the celebration, he plans games and executions. Macrinus addresses the senators, showing them the fate of Geta.
I must have power.
He urges their support over the Praetorian army, which they give him overwhelmingly.
Put your hands down.
Macrinus meets Lucilla and reminds her of her father's dream for Rome, which he believes will never come true. He plans his revenge on Marcus Aurelius's daughter for what was done to him. Once a slave with a mark on his chest, Macrinus now controls the empire. He will stop at nothing to eliminate Lucilla and claim the throne. In the dungeon, Lucius calls Ravi and gives him a ring to deliver to General Darius Sixtus in Ostia. The ring, Acacius's, marks Lucius as the true heir of Rome. He declares himself Lucius Verus, the Prince of Rome, calling for the army's support. Shocked, Ravi agrees and leaves the dungeon keys with him.
Thank you.
As the Colosseum is being prepared for the games, Ravi rides to Ostia. He gives the ring to General Darius Sixtus.
Who gave you this?
After explaining everything, the army then begins marching toward the city. As Lucilla and the traitor senators prepare for the games, Emperor Caracalla arrives at the arena, unsure about killing Lucilla.
You will never know peace.
Macrinus urges him to do it for peace, but he knows it will stir the crowd.
Politics.
Vigo attempts to taunt Lucius by handing him a wooden sword to defend his mother. However, Lucius and the other gladiators fight back, killing Vigo and the Praetorian guards. Lucius then dons his father Maximus's armor and wields his sword.
All the acclamation!
In the arena, the master of ceremonies introduces the games for Emperor Caracalla, his councils, and traitors Lucilla and the senators, who must face justice. Except one gladiator will fight for them.
Are all soldiers.
Meanwhile, Lucius encourages the gladiators to rise up for their freedom and a new Rome.
Honor meant something in Rome.
He promises to restore honor, rallying them with his sword, calling for strength and courage in their fight.
By my sword.
In the arena, as planned, Lucius was chosen to fight for his mother, Lucilla. The Praetorian guards surrounded him, the setup eerily similar to the one that led to his father Maximus's death. But Lucius had a plan. With his sword raised, he commanded the gladiators, and they surged into the arena, sparking chaos. Emperor Caracalla, unaware, watched excitedly. Meanwhile, the Praetorian commander informed Macrinus that the army from Ostia was near. The Praetorian guards shot into the crowd, inciting even more violence. The mob joined the fight. Macrinus, seizing the opportunity, killed Caracalla before fatally shooting Lucilla. As the city rioted, Macrinus fled with Lucius hot on his heels. Acacius's and Macrinus's armies face off outside Rome. To prevent a battle, Macrinus and Lucius duel. After Macrinus nearly kills Lucius in a river, Lucius hears his mother's voice and finds the strength to kill Macrinus. Lucius reveals he is the imperial heir and urges both armies to unite for a better Rome.
A city for the many. What say you?
Later, he mourns his parents in the Colosseum. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe to our channel if you haven't, and let us know where you're watching from in the comments section. Your support is greatly appreciated, my dear friend. Feel free to click on the next video. Thank you.